Hi guys. So, a few of you have asked me about sweat marks and what is or isn't okay. So, here's Soto after us having a ride. Now, today was not a flat work day. Today was a field. Let's go for a gallop. Let's have some fun day. Now, with Soto, it's hard to see because he's grey and the sweat sort of bends in, but you can see he did get a good sweat up. But I'm going to draw around where he's sweaty. So, he's sweaty here. He's sweaty all the way to here. Yeah, so can you see that? Don't worry, this is chalk. I have not just drew on my horse with a Sharpie. And this is a chalk pen. What I will mark your horse with when we're doing fittings. But he's sweaty the whole way through. He has a really consistent sweat patch the whole way through. Now, that's not typical for Soto. So even though his mommy is a saddle fitter, he does consistently stay dry here. Now, anyone that knows me as a rider will know exactly why my Soto stays dry here. So this is trapezius area. And if Soto's allowed to keep his head in the sky and not work properly, obviously he hollows his back, he lifts up in the scapula, and this bit comes lower. That was well demonstrated, Soto. So he's just lifted his head up a little bit for me, and you can see how this bit dips. So a saddle has to fit him 90% of the time, as in it has to fit consistently perfectly against him when he's working properly, or when he's working the way he works the majority of the time. So whenever I get a little dry patch here, I know I've sort of failed him. I haven't asked him through, I haven't asked him up underneath my right butt cheek, I haven't asked him really to flex correctly onto the left rein, and therefore he has a wee dry patch here. So sweat marks can mean that your saddle fits. It can also mean that you're not riding maybe the way you want to. It's an indication of where you're going to improve your flat work, because we don't all have the privilege of a coach on the ground all the time. So I would highly recommend when you get off your horse, you check your sweat patches. You should have a nice consistent sweat at the very least, all the way around here. Nice and fat here, because this is where the majority of the weight normally sits. Your bum cheeks will be here. Yeah. This is where you're through the center of the horse. So there should be a nice sweat patch here. And at the very least, we should have sweat along here and up here. If you don't have sweat here, it's probably because you're not asking your horse to work thoroughly, or you have work to do on it. Now, if you are, say, a rider that doesn't work through like that, say you're a natural rider that's had a horse that's went out hunting and hacking and enjoyed them, but never really learnt, to work through with the horse. It's just not your thing. And your horse does generally ride in a very natural way. So head up, not really through. You don't do dressage perhaps. And it's more just about the hacking and enjoyment of the horse. If you've told me that, I won't look to fit a horse for this muscle being up. I'll look to fit the horse the way it's going to ride for you. And the majority of the time that is going to be, with the head up. There's no point in me saying, let's fit a saddle to the perfect optimum position for your horse if you don't ride your horse in that way, because then it'll not fit the majority of the time. So we fit it to make sure that the sweat is consistent the majority of the time for your horse. I hope that makes sense, guys.